Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today it's lemon drizzle cake. So it's a classic, it's so easy to eat, it's quick to make, and this is what you need for this particular recipe. So your oven's going on at 180 degrees Celsius. You need your lined loaf tin, or as always, you can just make sure it's greased so that the cake doesn't stick. You need 100 grams of caster sugar in the bowl, and then for the drizzle, another 100 grams of caster sugar. You need your butter or your oil. So I'm using oil and it's 175 mils. So if it's butter, margarine, etc., that'll be 175 grams. 3 eggs, 2 unwaxed lemons because you don't want any coating on it because you're going to be grating in the zest. And then you also need 225 grams of self-raising flour. So got the sugar in here, and then if you were creaming the butter into the sugar, you would do it at that stage. But as I've told you, I'm at the moment quite into using the oil where I can because I think it makes a lighter cake. And we'll give that a quick mix. It's just so much quicker because essentially with the butter, you're working it eventually towards this stage too. But as you know, there's certain recipes where it really does need to be butter. And then what you're going to do is grate in the zest of the 2 lemons. And what you want to make sure, I'll use this side, don't take it down to the white, the pith, because then that's bitter. So you're just wanting the actual peel. And that ties in with our aromatherapy because when you get lemon essential oil, it's actually the oil that's coming from the skin. So when you think about this cake, and you can sometimes tie what we're doing into our treatments, whenever I'm doing anything like grating the zest of lemons or oranges or limes, it always reminds me of our essential oils or aromatherapy, and you can really start to smell the lemon oil too. It's lovely. So it'll take me a little bit of time to grate this, and then you can come back to me once that's done. Right, so that's our grated lemon in there, and now what we're going to do is add in the eggs one at a time, and then add a little spoonful of the flour in so that we don't curdle the mixture, but you can always bring it back anyway. So I'll start that off because I've done that in quite a few previous videos, and then I'll do the last one with you so you can see how that goes. So I've got 2 eggs in with a bit of flour each time. That's the 3rd egg. A little bit of flour here. And then just give it a little initial mix in. And then because that's the last egg, once that's mixed in, we'll just add in the rest of the flour. That's us. So now all of the flour goes in. And just fold that through. And you're just gently folding it so that you don't lose any air. Don't want to make a dense loaf cake. And then when that's all mixed through, again, it'll look like your classic sponge mixture. And that's going to go into the oven for around about 45 minutes. But what we all know is it's always an estimate with what your oven is. And let's be honest, how everything decides to go that day. Because sometimes you're pretty sure it's going to be a certain amount of time, but for some reason it just decides it's going to take longer one day, or it takes a bit quicker. So just always keep an eye on it. I'd say from about half an hour onwards, just keep an eye on it. That looks pretty good. So we'll get this into the oven and we will get this baking, and then when that's in, we have to make our drizzle. Just spread that out. Right, so in that goes, and I'm going to show you how we do the drizzle because that's actually got a part to play whilst this is baking. So the cake's just gone into the oven, and what we're doing now is making the drizzle, but the best way to have it nice and ready for your cake is to actually create it now and then sit it next to the oven near your hob if it's safe to do so, because the heat that's coming off the oven will just add a little warmth to this so that your sugar syrup, your lemony sugar syrup, is perfect for when it's time to actually pour it on the cake. The other tip is warm the lemons in the microwave if you can, just for 5 seconds, or even in the oven just for a minute or two. Keep an eye on them, because when you warm them you actually get more juice out of them when you go to squeeze them. It doesn't look as if there's any pips here, but I'll be careful, and if you just squeeze it through your fingers you will catch the pips as you go. And obviously see, there are actually some pips there, couldn't see them. And you do get squeezers. I do not have a squeezer, so that's not happening for me. Yeah, I didn't think there was any pips. Look at that. Far more than I thought. Worst case scenario, if you need to though, you can pick them out. Right, so we've squeezed the 2 lemons into the sugar, and now it's just a case of making sure that the juice mixes in with the caster sugar. And then, as I said, what we'll do is just leave it next to the cooker while the cake's baking in the oven, and there'll be a very mild heat, and because you're sitting it nearby, it's just allowing it to go from a grainy syrup to a smooth syrup. So next you see me, hopefully the cake will be ready and we can actually pour this over the top. Right, so that's our cake. It was just over 45 minutes for me today. It was 50, but that just goes to show it's always a guide. So as you can see, the knife's coming out clean, but because it's a drizzle cake, what we want to do is make lots of little cuts in it so that the drizzle can actually sink in, whilst we also have the lovely drizzly crust on top. So made our little cuts, and then this is our drizzle mixture that's just been sitting on top of the hob. The hob hasn't been on, but the oven's been on, so that's what's kept it nice and liquid. And then it's just a case of drizzling it over or pouring it over the cake, whatever you prefer. This is why I think that greaseproof paper, I forgot what I was saying there. Greaseproof paper is good for this rather than just greasing the loaf tin, because it's less messy. And then what will happen is some of that will absorb into the cake, and then the rest will make a lovely little crunchy lemony crust. So the last stage is just waiting for that to cool, and then I'll let you see when it's finished. And there's our end result, our lemon drizzle cake. Totally honest with you, I haven't let it cool completely, so you can't really see what will be the little sugary crust on it. That will come as it cools, but as you know, I have no patience, so I had to cut a bit because I need to eat it, and I like eating the cake when it's warm, so it will look more crispy on the top when it's finished, but you'll just have to trust me on that when you make your own. So one of my favourites. Have you noticed that all cakes are one of my favourites? I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've got any favourites that you make, because I might be inclined to give it a try. And have a lovely day. I will see you again soon.